Good morning, I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for streaming with us. A U.S. volleyball player has tested positive for COVID at the Tokyo Olympics. Officials say they're not ruling out a last-minute cancellation of the Olympics if cases keep rising. Meanwhile, the first games are officially underway ahead of Friday's opening ceremony. We have the latest live from Tokyo. And at least 16 people are confirmed dead after severe flash flooding in China. Rescue workers are on the scene saving children, in this case, from a stranded kindergarten. Now, officials say things could get much worse with more rain in the forecast, and the military says a dam could burst at any time. Back here at home, the Milwaukee Bucks are celebrating their first NBA Finals win in 50 years. The Bucks beat the Suns in an incredible Game 6, sending fans outside the arena into an absolute frenzy. MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo put up 50 points. Hear what he says was on his mind as the clock hit 0. But we begin in Washington, where a key vote set for today on the bipartisan infrastructure deal could be pushed to next week. Negotiations went late into last night, with Republicans telling Majority Leader Chuck Schumer the bill needs to be fully written before anyone in the party will vote to advance it. Let's bring in ABC News political director Rick Klein and congressional reporter Trish Turner, who's on the phone for more on this. Trish, let's just start with the latest. Will we see a vote on this today or not?
Hi, Diane. Yep, we are absolutely going to see a vote today. Senator Schumer was just on the floor reiterating he wants the vote to start on the debate today on the bipartisan bill. And he just, it's going to happen later this afternoon. He's trying to reiterate to Republicans this isn't a deadline to have every final detail worked out. He's saying it's not an attempt to jam anyone, but we also know not one Republican is going to vote for it. They were here, the bipartisan negotiators, late into the night with White House officials, and we know they're very close. A number of them told us that, but they still haven't buttoned up the bill. They still don't have a price tag. They still don't have a way to show Republicans that all of the spending, this nearly $600 billion in new spending, is paid for, so they simply can't start debate on any product that isn't written and that, they don't know enough about.
Rick, Schumer seemed to indicate that it was an unusual request for the bill to be written before this vote happens. Is that the case?
His bill, and that's part of what complicates this situation, as Trish has been covering. Schumer is the majority leader. He controls the Senate floor, and he's trying to force the hand of negotiators to the point that Democrats will make. It's been 6 months now into the Biden administration. Senators have had ample opportunity to come to an agreement, and Schumer wants to smoke them out a little bit. Now, he says this isn't a gambit. This isn't an attempt to jam anyone. A lot of Republicans disagree with that, and they'll also point out that Schumer's got his own political cross pressures, including pressures from the left on his party, some of whom aren't nuts about the idea of this bipartisan package. So there's a lot of machinations that are going on through all of this. Even if this bill or this attempt to start debate fails, it can be brought up again, which is almost certainly what would happen. But for now, at least, the Biden-Schumer gambit, this strategy that they're using, doesn't appear to be working. We'll have to see if it moves the end product a little bit along. But they're not the key votes here. That's what makes the dynamic so intriguing.
Now, Trish, it's been almost a month since President Biden met with the bipartisan group of senators at the White House and said, we have a deal. So what sticking points are left to iron out here?
Well, what everyone is learning is that legislating is actually really hard. It's easy enough to, it was hard enough for them, at least, to say, hey, we've got an agreement on a framework, but when you start to put the details together, it gets really hard. So political cross-currents start coming into these negotiations, and they had to remove a giant financing mechanism. They were going to, President Biden and some Republicans were really on board with beefing up the IRS to get about $100 million to cover the new spending. So $100 billion coming in from all the people who aren't paying their taxes. But Republicans, conservatives especially, they've got a long history, and it's not good with the IRS. They really think they were targeted back, in previous administrations, and they're just not willing to give this IRS, a bunch of money to, send out to go, stalk everyone, to plague them with tax audits. And so they're just not willing to do that. And so that's a giant hole that these negotiators had to fill, and so they scrambled. They're trying to figure out a way to pay for this through, a change to kind of, it's really weedy, but like a Medicare rebate that President Trump was trying to put into effect. And so if you stop that, then, more money is saved. And also there's a giant problem. I was told last night the biggest problem they're facing is how do you finance transit? So the Senate hadn't agreed yet on a bill to do that, and so they're trying behind the scenes to figure out how much money to give to public transit. So there's like lots of sticky little issues. There's not a lot left, but the things that are left are pretty darn big. And so we'll see. They do think they're going to get an agreement on a deal, a final deal, sometime this week, and then they hope to have the legislative text and these analyses that give them scores that tell them, hey, all your financing, options cover all your spending. That's the big thing. They hope to have that by Monday. And so Republicans are signaling to Senator Schumer, hey, why don't you just put off today's vote? Let's have it on Monday, and then enough of us will be with you. And we know that Schumer needs 10 Republicans to be with him. So we'll see what happens.
All right. So, Rick, what happens if this vote and the deal itself fails? Could that impact the larger infrastructure bill Democrats are trying to pass on their own?
Big time, because there's already a lot of sticker shock about how big the Democrat-only package is, the parallel track that's been running here. And think about it, if this $1.2 trillion falls away, this is supposedly the easier stuff. And the Democrats are going to want to gobble a lot of that up into their package. So it means the price tag almost certainly goes up substantially of the Democrats-only package. And that package isn't cooked yet either. Today is also a kind of soft deadline that Schumer has set to have the Democrats agree to the size and the scope and start getting into the details of their infrastructure package. And yes, the fact that it could expand by maybe $1 trillion more is going to create even more concerns among some moderates. So these are complicated issues. We heard Biden initially, when that deal was announced about a month ago, explicitly link the two packages, the smaller, harder infrastructure versus the Democrats' only broader package. He kind of walked that back. But the fact is, they are very much interrelated. They are connected. And the failure to advance one impacts the other, and there's no way around that, and that's why today's vote matters, and the outcome of this bipartisan deal is pretty essential to Biden's view of how government should interact with people, Biden's view of how government should work. All of it is wrapped up into these coming votes.
All right, like a game of Django Washington style. Rick Klein, Trish Turner, thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks, Diane.
And coming up, an American beach volleyball player has tested positive for COVID at the Tokyo Olympics. When we come back, we're live in Tokyo with the latest, with just 2 days to go until the opening ceremonies. Stay with us. Welcome back. Tokyo officials say COVID cases there have surged 155% over the past 7 days. A beach volleyball player is now the latest American athlete to test positive, as officials say they're still considering canceling the games altogether, with the opening ceremony just 2 days away. ABC's Kenneth Moten is in the Olympic bubble in Tokyo with more on this. Hi, Kenneth. What's the latest on this positive case, and what does it mean for Team USA?
Well, Diane, we know this American beach volleyball player is in quarantine here in Tokyo after he tested positive at the airport. USA Volleyball has not released his name, but here's what we do know, that he's in quarantine again at a local hotel. And also, when it comes to his sport, we understand that even though volleyball qualifies and plays in pairs, you can replace an athlete up until Thursday evening. So there's still a chance for him to be replaced ahead of that Sunday match.
How hard is that for that person's partner, then, if they have to play with someone new?
Very difficult. Can you imagine knowing that you have trained with this person, you qualify with them, you've gone through the ups and downs of trying to make it to the Olympics through the Olympic trials, and then there's this last-minute replacement. But when it comes to Team USA, a lot of these athletes, Diane, they know each other, and so hopefully it won't be that big of a difference for his partner, for his playing partner, but still, yeah, it could be pretty tough.
Now, the chief of Tokyo 2020 organizing committee said that officials will continue discussions as they monitor monitor cases. Has there been any more talks about potential cancellations?
Well, no public talk. We don't know exactly what's going on behind closed doors, but you would think, Diane, they've got to be talking about this when it comes to those surge in numbers here. And when he dropped that line on us, that bomb on us yesterday about an 11th hour, a possibility of an 11th hour cancellation, it was like a ripple effect through the globe as people, know that 11,000 athletes will make their way to this country over the next 2 weeks. Tens of thousands of people connected to these games are already pouring into this country. But when you're talking about those numbers of those who are coming into this country connected to this game, and the fact that we've had about 70 or 80 positive cases since July 1st, that number may seem small, but here's why it matters, Diane. Health experts are raising alarm, warning that this virus is spreading faster than during the third wave of infections at the beginning of the year. Just today, Tokyo reported a 6-month high of new cases, more than 1,800. And so you add all that together, and it's just not a good recipe.
And meanwhile, women's basketball player Sue Bird and baseball player Eddie Alvarez will be carrying the American flag at the opening ceremony. So what can you tell us about why they were selected?
Well, they were selected because they're pretty bad. You know what? They were selected by their team members on Team USA. About 600 athletes voted for them to be the flag bearers. And let me tell you about them. They've got an impressive CV here, each of them. Sue Bird, a 4-time Olympic champion, and baseball player Eddie Alvarez, a 2014 Olympic silver medalist in speed skating. Again, they were chosen by their fellow athletes. That's how high of esteem they are. They're seen there. Bird made her debut in Athens 2004. She won 4 straight gold medals and is trying to get her 5th. Alvarez has competed in the games before, currently plays pro for the Miami Marlin minor league. He's the first baseball player to be a flag bearer in the opening ceremony for the U.S.
Now, organizers say that this is the most gender equal Olympics in history. What do they mean by that?
What they mean is it's a turning point, and it's incredible to see, especially when you compare the numbers of men to women over the past, really the history of these games. And let me give you those numbers. I typically don't like to list a bunch of numbers, Diane, but these are so impressive. Let me give them to you. This is up from 45% at the last games in 2016. Organizers have said that women accounting for nearly 49% of the 11,000 athletes. And again, that's up from 45% of the last games in 2016 in Rio. It was just 2.2% at the 1900 games in Paris, the first to have female athletes. And when the games return to Paris in 2024, there is anticipated to be full gender parity with the same number of female athletes to men. How about that, Diane?
All right. Times are a-changing. Kenneth Moten in Tokyo. Thank you, friend.
Thank you.
And let's bring in infectious disease specialist and ABC News contributor, Dr. Simone Wilds, for more on this. Dr. Wilds, great to see you. Thanks for being here. When you look at the number of cases in the Olympic Village so far, how worried are you? And what do you think the chances are of them needing to cancel these games at the last minute?
Diane, thanks for having me. I'm definitely concerned about the numbers that keep increasing each day. I know the athletes have prepared for such a long time, so I know it must be really disheartening for them as well. But I think that there's going to be a lot of discussions going on behind closed doors about what's the best step forward. The key thing is that we want to make sure that everyone is safe, and I'm sure there's a lot of protocols in place to ensure that that's happening. But I think at the end of the day, they're going to really see, what is going to be the greatest impact, whether to keep going forward or to cancel the games. And I really hope that we can go forward with the games.
Now, a new study is also suggesting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine could be less effective against the Delta variant. Yesterday, the CDC director faced some tough questions about why the U.S. is taking so long to authorize booster shots. So do you think this is going to accelerate that conversation? And how should we be looking at this new study data?
Absolutely. I think there's going to be definitely more conversations about what to do with this new information about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine with regards to how it acts with the Delta variant. I think there are a number of things that are going to happen. I think more than likely they're going to probably talk about booster shots for those who have had the Johnson & Johnson, either with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine itself Or they might consider using the messenger RNA vaccine, either the Pfizer or the Moderna, just to ensure that people who got the Johnson & Johnson have added protection, especially with the variant rampant.
And how concerned should we be about breakthrough cases? How contagious are those people who are vaccinated and then still get COVID afterward? And can they still get long hauler symptoms?
A great question. I mean, right now, everyone is talking about breakthrough cases, but I really want to stress that the key is it's still very rare. I know it's popular right now, but, you know, we've had more than 159 million people vaccinated and thousands of people get breakthrough. So a very small number. I think we'll just continue to watch things closely. We do know that those that get the breakthrough infections tend to have milder disease. So usually those are not the ones hospitalized. We will monitor them and see, you know, how numbers go. But I think that in general, you should still be safe getting the vaccine.
Now, some students start going back to school as early as today. Considering the spread of the Delta variant, what should parents and school officials be doing to maintain safety?
Really hot topic right now as children get back to school. Key thing is we really want to get children back in school in person. There are a number of things that I'm really a strong proponent of, making sure everyone wears their mask. I'm really hard to distinguish those who have been vaccinated versus those that have been unvaccinated. So I think it's just safer to have everyone wear masks. Cleaning protocols are going to be important. Ventilation is absolutely going to be important. Testing and quarantining, those are big things that we really need to make sure that are in place as the children get back to school, because we want to make sure they have in-person learning coming up for the next school session.
And what about in states where they ban school districts from implementing mask mandates? We know that the CDC and the AAP are mixed in terms of what their recommendations are for masking in schools. But how do schools that don't have that option mitigate the spread?
One of the things that they're going to have to do, there has to be more discussions between the both groups, especially in states where the vaccination rates are low. I think people really need to put all the politics aside and come together and really talk about what is safest for our children.
All right, Dr. Simone Wilds, always great to talk to you. Doctor, thank you.
All right, thanks for having me.
Coming up, the Milwaukee Bucks are celebrating their first NBA Finals win in 50 years. When we come back, we'll hear from star player Giannis Antetokounmpo about his MVP performance. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Milwaukee Bucks are celebrating this morning after taking home their first NBA championship in 50 years. Giannis Antetokounmpo put up 50 points in Game 6 to cap off his MVP performance. ABC's Will Reeve caught up with the so-called Greek Freak after the big win. Take a look.
Giannis, July 16th, 2014, you tweeted, "I'll never leave the team and the city of Milwaukee till we build the team to a championship-level team." 7 years later, did you ever waver in that belief?
No, I kept believing. You know, I kept believing in the culture we're building here, the organization, the city of Milwaukee, myself, that we can do this. And 7 years later, as you say, we did it. You know, but it took so many people sacrificed in order for us to accomplish what we accomplished tonight. You know, and without the support of the city, like we had 20,000 people cheering inside, 25,000, 30,000 people outside cheering in every single game. That was amazing. And in Milwaukee, this is for you, and we can't stop now. We got to keep getting better and do it again.
Have you seen the images of what was going on outside during the game?
No.
Let me show you this, man. It's like unbelievable. When I wasn't watching you, I was, look at this. This is from the top of the arena.
This is insane. This is more than 20,000 people. This is like
65,000 people.
65,000 people. Milwaukee, we did it! Yeah!
It was your time. This whole series, man, you were on another level. 50 points in the clinching game to end a 50-year drought. What does that feel like? Explain to a mere human what that feels like.
I wasn't even thinking about points. I was just thinking about winning this game. Like, I didn't want to go back to Phoenix. You know, it was too hot over there. I didn't want to leave my family, you know, and I wanted to get it done here in front of the city of Milwaukee, in front of our fans. And I was just trying to take possession at a time. And while having that mindset, I was able to accomplish what I accomplished on the court. So, you know, like, no athlete goes on the court and say, I'm going to score 59. Like, maybe some of them, maybe like KD, you know, but I took it possession at a time. My teammates helped me be great, and I was just trying to stay aggressive. No matter if I miss a shot or make a shot, you know, kept coming all night.
You growing up in Greece had to hustle. You had to grind for everything in your life. That's a long way from holding the two biggest trophies in your sport in your hand as a champion. How far away does that part of the journey feel now?
It doesn't feel far at all to me. It hasn't. Like, I feel it was just like yesterday, 8 years ago, you know, 8.5 years ago, I was, you know, we were trying to figure out where we're going to get our next meal from. You know, like, I was getting, me and my brother were getting combined paid 500 euros a month. And our rent was 400 euros. Like we were struggling, but like all those struggles, man, everything we had to went through. We see my mom and my dad struggling, and my brothers. Like this, that made me who I am today. That made me like being so stubborn. Like I wanted this so bad. Like I wanted to help my family come out of that struggle. I was able to do that. I wanted my brothers to have a better life than what I did. You know, I was able to send my little brothers to private school. I wanted my kids to have a better, like I was working every freaking day, and I wanted to win a championship for the city of Milwaukee and for myself also. And like, if you put your mind, if you put something in your mind and every day you wake up, that's the first thing you think about, and you're like, how can I achieve this goal every day? That's what I've done the 8 years. You can achieve incredible things, but you have to be extremely committed to it. But like the struggles and all that we went through, the challenges, that made me who I am today. If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be a champion. I would not.
It makes it sweeter, I would think, too.
It made it way sweeter. And this is the messed up part about me. I don't know, we've never talked before, that like, this is great. You know, I'm happy that I'm able to live the moment, enjoy the moment with my family and everybody. But like, I'm already like thinking about when can we do it again? Because like being a champion, playing this stage is addicting, you know. And I'm trying to enjoy the moment, but like, I want to do it. You know, I want to do it again. You know.
Do you think you have a chance next year?
I don't know. I can't predict the future, but I know that I want to play in the highest level. You know, I want to be a part of that. I want to win or lose. I don't care about the outcome. I just want to be around that environment. You know, the playoff environment, finals environment. It's a great feeling.
What does it feel like when the clock hits zero, the confetti comes down, this place is going nuts? You know that you've just accomplished something unprecedented, almost unimaginable, to win the way that you did. What goes through your mind and your heart in that moment?
Like you could see, like I was thinking about my family. You know, I was just thinking about my family, like how much they wanted it, how much I wanted it, what we had to go through in order for us to be in this position. Like I had it easy. Like, you know, I had to do stuff, but I had it easy. Like what my parents had to go through, you know. And it was an amazing feel. Like still, you don't understand it's real. Like even now, still I'm like, is this real? You know. But like seeing, like when you see the people cheering and you like, there's 10 seconds left to go. You're like, man, did we just won the NBA championship? Are we about to win the NBA championship? You know, it's amazing feeling, and I want to do it again.
You're a champion, you're a son, you're a brother, you're a father. What was it like sharing this moment with your son?
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing, man. He doesn't know it. He's too young, but he pushes me to be great. You know, I never give up. No matter what the outcome is, no matter what the obstacle is, I never give up. And I always have in the back of my mind my son, because I want him to see that his dad was always playing. Like, no matter if he make a free throw, airball a free throw, whatever the case might be, he kept playing. He never gave up, you know, so it's great to have my son and my family now.
Yeah, man. When's the next time you're going to sleep?
No, I'm tired. I got to go sleep. A lot of people say they're not going to sleep tonight. Guys, after this, I'm out. I got to go sleep. I'm tired.
Really?
I'm tired.
You're not going out to celebrate?
No,
you're
no,
you're the most beloved man in the entire state, let alone this city, and you're going to go to bed?
No. I'm going to bed. I have to stay COVID-free. And I'm tired. I gave everything. And I'm tired. My leg hurts. And I got to get some rest. Tomorrow I'll celebrate.
Yeah?
Yes.
How are you going to celebrate? What's the plan?
I think I'm going to take my son to Disneyland.
This is 8 years ago.
Yes.
This is you.
Yes.
In New York. Look how you're like a little kid. This is outside of where our Good Morning America studios are. You see that kid, and then you look at yourself in the mirror now holding those trophies. What goes through your mind?
I can't stop. Like, I have to keep working, because that kid right there, he committed himself to the game, to his craft. He said he's going to keep working no matter what the outcome is. And this is the outcome, you know, 8 years later. So I cannot imagine what is going to be 8 years from now. I got to keep working hard. I can't stop right now.
What is next for you? What's your ceiling? You're rewriting what is possible in basketball.
I hope, but we didn't qualify for the Olympic Games. But I hope I can win something with my national team. I can win a medal. I can make my home country proud.
All right, well, Reeve, thanks for that interview. And that does it for this newscast. I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for joining us. Remember, ABC News Live is here for you all day with the latest news, context, and analysis. I'll see you back here at 3 p.m. Eastern with Kira Phillips for The Breakdown. Stay safe.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. How do we know the names? We are the people that can find whatever you may need. If you got the money, honey, we got your disease.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.